Hi everyone, thanks for joining us again. I'm tying a red holographic dowel Bach. I tie this from size 10 to 16. It's probably my best nymph. So the hook I'm using today is an eliteflies comp barbless size 12. The thread is UTC 70 black. So run the thread on down to the hook point as shown, and then you're going to trim off the excess. Now for the tail, I've got a hen cape that I've dyed claret here. You can use brown or red game or something, or even black, it's fine. So take a feather out, one side you can use for the tail, one side for the throat. So pull some fibres off from one side of the feather. Make sure that they're aligned nicely, the tips are nice and even and neat. And then you're going to tie in your tail. It's quite a short tail on this fly, I don't like it too long. So just catch that in, couple of turns, trim off the end a bit there. And now you're going to tie in your rib. I'm using fine silver wire. You can use gold wire, it doesn't matter, but use some old scissors, don't use your best scissors. Trim your wire, catch that in. And then you're going to tie in your red holographic tinsel. This is fine tinsel. So take a good length of that, because you're going to need more later, and tie that in as shown. Now for the body, I'm using peacock herl. You just want one strand. This is quite a slim fly. And this piece of peacock herl that I'm using, it is quite fine already, so it doesn't need trimming. But you're going to catch it in as shown, secure it, and then run the thread down to the eye. Now take the herl and turn it the other way that you have with the thread, and in touching turns carefully wind it up to within 2 millimeters of the eye. Carefully you don't catch it on the hook point, and go easy on it because it is easy to snap. Normally if the herl is quite thick I would take the scissors and I'd give it a trim now actually, but this one's quite slim so it's not necessary. So secure it with a couple of thread turns, give it a shake and it should snap off. A couple of turns just to neaten it up there. Now you're going to take your main rib, which is the red holographic tinsel, and in open turns you're going to make 5 or 6 turns up to within 2 millimeters of the eye again, like shown. Don't be afraid to pull it quite tight, it can take it. A couple of thread turns to secure that, but don't trim away your tinsel, leave it hanging there as you're gonna need that later. Now take your wire rib. To be honest, this is more of a protection. You don't have to have a wire rib if you don't want, but I like my flies to last. So 4 or 5 open turns the other way, and that's going to secure your herl body and the tinsel. So secure that with the thread, give it a couple more turns just to be sure, and then shake that off and it should snap. Now for the throat, get that feather that you pulled out earlier and take some fibres from the other side. I prefer the fibres near to the tip. I think there's a bit more colour in them personally, and a bit more movement. So use a pinch and loop as shown, one turn and another to secure. Your throat, the fibres, you want them to basically go down to the hook point, no longer than that. And now you trim away the excess. Just be careful not to trim away your tinsel. Now build up a neat head with your thread. Make sure it's nice and even. And now you're going to take your tinsel and you're going to wind as shown It doesn't matter which way you wind it because we're going to varnish it in a minute. Don't be afraid to overlap it as well. The idea is you just don't want any black thread to be on show. So just keep turning it until you're comfortable. The whole of the head is covered in red holographic tinsel. And it looks quite even and neat. And then when you're happy, you can secure it with the thread. Just one turn with this and pull it back, and another turn. And now we're going to use a single half hitch. It's just to keep the thread to a minimum because we want that red holographic on show. And now trim away the thread. And we're going to trim away the excess tinsel as well. Get it as close as you can. And now get your varnish or your head cement. We're going to give it a good dollop for this. And get plenty on. You're going to cover the red holographic part and the thread. Get more on than you need, and then just take your finger or your thumb and just dab it around the fly, and that's going to make sure that there's not any excess. And then just find something blunt. I've got a broken hook here, and go through the hook eye just to clean it. And that's the finished fly. This is a very deadly nymph, probably my best one. Works all year round. Great fish, straight line nymphing, great as part of the washing line, great fished on its own, just as one fly. I use it on a floating line and a midge tip. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching.